What is Big One? The Big One is a hypothetical earthquake of magnitude 8 or greater that is expected to happen along the San Andreas Fault. Such a quake will produce devastation to human civilization. Within about 50 to 100 miles of the San Andreas Fault quake zone, especially in urban areas like Palm Springs, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Scientists have learned that the Earth crust is fractured into a series of plates that have been moving very slowly over the Earth's surface for millions of years. Two of these moving plates meet in western California. The boundary between them is the San Andreas Fault. The Pacific plate on the west moves northwestward relative to the North American plate on the east, causing earthquake along the port. The San Andreas is the master fault of an interplate fault network that cut the top crack of the California coastal region. The entire San Andreas fault system is more than 800 miles long and extends to depth of at least 10 miles within Earth. In detail, the fault is a complex zone of crushed and broken rock from a few hundred feet on mile wide. Many smaller faults branch from and join the San Andreas fault zone. Almost any roads cut in the zone show a myriad of small fractured fault, gold block, rise rock, and a few solid pieces of rock. The 1990 Luzon earthquake struck the island of Luzon in the Philippines at 4:26 p.m. on July 16, PDT, 3:26 p.m. PST with an estimated moment magnitude of 7.8 and a maximum Mercalli intensity of IX, violent, and produced a 125 km long ground rupture that stretched from Dingalan, Aurora to Coyapo, Nueva Ecija. The event was a result of strike-slip movement along the Philippine Fault and the Dig-Dig Fault within the Philippine Fault system. The earthquake epicenter was near the town of Rizal, Nueva Ecija, northwest Cabanatuan City. An estimated 1,621 people were killed. Most of the fatalities located in central Luzon and the Cordillera region. The Big One could kill 34,000 in the Philippines. In Metro Manila, the Big One applies the scenario wherein movements along the Valley Fault system could trigger a 7.2 magnitude quake. The East Valley Fault straddles 10 kilometers in Rizal Province, while the West Valley Faults run over more than 100 km through the province of Bulacan, Rizal, Cavite, and Laguna and Metro Manila. Scientists claim that the 100 km faults, which last moved in 1658, moves every 400 years, meaning the threat of a 7.2 magnitude quake is getting closer. Over the years, the Philippines has suffered a history of destructive and frequent earthquakes. Destructive of buildings and hilly slope lives are not limited to the epicenter in the nearby cities of the earthquake. Can you imagine the devastation in 1990 Luzon earthquake? Based on older person who experienced that earthquake, Philippines then is not ready for that kind of earthquake. You can see in photographs the damage left by that earthquake and the number of people killed, not include the missing. The number of injuries and the people homeless. The shaking of land felt also in Metro Manila and other regions in the Philippines. If the Big One happened, are we prepared? What shall we do? So, for now, it's my feature presentation. What I can say is this: let's all pray together that what happened in 1990 Luzon earthquake will not happen again. Sa bukas na aklat na aking nabasa, ang paglindol ay may dulot parang pag-asa. Kabihas ng sinaunan na ilathala nila mga pahingaring nagpaunlad sa kanila. Sa trahedya na nangyari, mga talampasan na iumusbong, mga batis na malamig at mainit ay yumabong sa selebasyon nila ay sumulong na sumulong. Sa panahon ngayon kapag ang kalamidad ay dumating, malaking perwisyon dulot sa atin, kabuhayan at buhay na taong kaya nitong tangayin, at tangi pagtangis ang iniiwan sa atin, bigati at kasawian, sasariwain, mga pangit na alaala bumbungad sa atin. Kaya tanong nila, may babalik pa ba sa atin ang mga tao, ano ang kayang gawin? Kapag lungkot sa mga mata ang nakita, magkaibang lahi ay handang tumulong sa kanila. Akong pakikipagdalamhati ay kanilang inuuna. Ang mga hidwaan isinasatabi muna. Ang kalamidad ay hindi kayang pigilan, ngunit ito ay kaya nating harapin. Hawak kamay tayo upang manalang. Tulong ng Diyos isa isip natin. Thank you. The 1688 Sanyo earthquake occurred in the late afternoon of June 5 in the province of Benevento, southern Italy. The moment magnitude is estimated at 7 with a Mercalli intensity of excite. It severely damaged numerous towns in a vast area, complete destroyed Cenerentola, Sanita, and Guardia Sanpodia. The exact number of victims is unknown, and is estimated at about 10,000. It's among the most destructive earthquake in the history of Italy. The Rhodes earthquake of 226 BC, which affected the island of Rhodes, Greece, is famous for having toppled the large statue known as Colossus of Rhodes. The following the earthquake statue lay in place for nearly 8 centuries before being swept up by invaders, while 226 BC is most often cited as the date of the quake. Sources variable cite 226 or 227 BC as date when it occurred. On February 5, 62 AD, a powerful earthquake about 7.5 magnitude occurred with the epicenter at Pompeii. To give you an idea of the size of the earthquake, it was comparable to the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, which about caused 3,000 dead and destroyed most of the city. The 1881 Chios earthquake occurred at 1340 local time, 11:30 UTC on April 3. It caused severe damage on the island of Chios and also affected Sesme and Alaka City on coast of Turkey. The earthquake had an estimated magnitude of 7.3 and there was an estimated 7,866 casualties. The devastation from earthquake was the last of 3 catastrophic that affected the island of Chios in the 19th centuries. The 1932 Larissos earthquake occurred at 1920 on September 26. It caused severe damage in Larissos and the surrounding part of the Chalkidiki Peninsula with 491 casualties reported. The 1980 Irpinia earthquake, Italian terremoto dell'Irpinia, took place in Italy on November 23 with a moment magnitude of 6.9 and a maximum Mercalli intensity of extreme. It left at least 2,483 people dead, at least 7,700 injured, and 2,050 homeless. The 1627 Gargano earthquake struck Gargano, southern Italy at about midday on July 30, 1627. A very large earthquake caused a major tsunami, the largest net seismic event ever recorded in Gargano region, which produced severe damage in the whole promontory, killing about 5,000 people. Whereafter were documented, the most extensive damage was noted between San Severo and Lesina. The 1908 Messina earthquake, also known as the 1908 Messina and Reggio earthquake, occurred on December 28 in Sicily and Calabria, southern Italy, with a moment magnitude of 7.1 and a maximum Mercalli intensity of XI extreme. The cities of Messina and Reggio Calabria were almost completely destroyed, and between 75,000 and 82,000 lives were lost. It was the most destructive earthquake ever to strike Europe. In early 1981, the eastern Gulf of Corinth, Greece was struck by 3 earthquakes with a magnitude greater than 6. Over a period of 11 days, the earthquake sequence caused widespread damage in the Corinth-Athens area, destroying nearly 8,000 houses and causing 22 deaths. The 464 BCE Sparta earthquake occurred along the Sparta Fault in the year 464 BCE, destroying much of what was Sparta and many other city-states in ancient Greece. Historical sources suggest that the death toll may have been as high as 2,000, although modern scholars suggest that this figure is likely an exaggeration. The earthquake gave the Helots an opportunity to revolt against the Spartans, and the Athenians were called their aides. Their immediately dismissal upon arrival is said to have been a key event that led up to the First Peloponnesian War. Report. Isang magnitude 7.1 na lindol ang tumama sa Davao Oriental. Ngayong Huwebes, ika-21 ng Enero, taong kasalukuyan. Ayon sa Philbox, ang lindol ay tumama ganap na ika-8.23 ng gabi. Ang lokasyon ay 231 km ng Davao Oriental. Ang lindol ay naramdaman sa mga sumusunod na lugar: Jensan, Davao City, Surigao del Sur, Sarangani, South Cotabato, Misamis Oriental, Cagayan del Oro City, Eastern Samar at Catbalogan City. Wala namang pinsala ang lindol, pero ang lahat ay pinag-iingat dahil sa aftershock. Ako po si Jillian Joseph Papable, nag-uulat para sa Newsbreak, responsible sa pagbabalik.